Hey YouTube, thanks for stopping by the channel and thanks for clicking play today. I think GM may have a problem here, guys. The 2025 Mustang GTD, the 815 horsepower Mustang that was co-developed along with the GT3 race car that has a MSRP of $350,000, has just posted a Nürburgring lap time of 6 minutes, 57 seconds, 0.685. That's right, guys. This would make the GTD the first American-made production car to lap the ring in under 7 minutes. You know, a lot of us were hoping and still are in that camp that the C8 Z06, is capable of a sub 7 minute time with the right perfect conditions, the factory team there, and the right driver. We got that, a lot of people felt rather disappointing 7 minute, 10-second time from the Z06. It's not official yet. I really wish GM would give us some official times. But, this is a statement, guys. Ford even believes there's more in this car. And the car was actually driven by Ford factory driver Dirk Mueller. There's actually a really good video on YouTube, 14 minutes. It's titled Road to the Ring, and I'm going to post the actual link to that in the description here because it's actually a pretty good video. But they were only able to complete 3 runs. The weather really wasn't cooperating. They had the setup, they had the factory team there, but they just couldn't get the weather to cooperate. And when they got those 3 runs, he actually broke that 7 minute barrier on the first of those 3 runs. When they talked to him afterwards, he said, that kind of took some pressure off of him, that he went out there and he, broke that barrier on the first run. That was still their fastest time, was a 6:57.685. But they did get 2 other full laps in after that. So again, he said, that the track wasn't quite there. Everybody from Ford also felt, the track wasn't quite there for them that day. So they feel that this GTD actually has more in it, is what they're saying, in faster times. Even the Ford president had just said that in the video there. So, we'll see. I mean, this is a statement, guys. We've got the ZR1 coming. We'll see what that is. But, as it stands, this GTD is the 5th fastest production car, slotted right between the 992 911 GT3 at 659.93 and the GT3 that has the Manthe performance kit on it that ran a 655.737. So, that is some lofty territory to be in. And again, everybody was hoping the Z06 would be that sub 7 minute car, be the first American car to do it. I still think it has it in it. I'm not going to lie. But, again, the GTD was developed solely. It has 815 horsepower from a supercharged V8, but the aero and the suspension were the whole focus of that. Ford was very clear about that when they were discussing their ring results, that, the aero and the actual, the aero for the downforce was their big proponent there. There's a lot to be said for the trickle-down effect for racing in, production cars. We've always seen it, Corvette specifically, the Corvette racing teams and all the development and, the, LT6, the LS7, a lot of the, iconic things about the Corvette itself have come as a trickle down from the racing team, and Ford has made no secret that they've been co-developing this GT3 right along, or this GTD right alongside with their GT3 car. So, there is a lot of race car lineage and a lot of race car hybrid in this, as far as it's coming down DNA-wise into the GTD. Now, it is a $350,000 production car. It will be ultimately a very limited production, I'm sure. Very few real people are going to get their hands on these cars. But, I mean, how is that going to be much different from the C8 ZR1? I mean, I don't see the C8 ZR1 being very cheap, especially once you start to add, ADMs and, markups. But, again, is it going to be able to do, with another 200 horsepower, hopefully some better aero than the Z06, that it'll be able to do that sub 7 minute time? Because, the statements from the people that set the lap time on the Z06 were saying, that what really hurt it was it had a long 5th gear, and even with the 670 horsepower, if you've got a long gear, it just kind of fell on its face on the fast, long sections of the track. You are not going to run into that with the ZR1. The C8 ZR1 has 1,000 horsepower, and it can go 233 miles an hour. So you're not going to run into that. So I am ultimately confident that the ZR1 is going to give us a sub 7 minute time. I'd really like to see it slot in front of the GTD, to be totally honest with you. But, we are definitely going to get a 7 minute time with that ZR1, given the fact that it will not be hindered by a long 5th gear, and horsepower and aero should not be a problem at all for this car. You know, and who knows? I mean, that 7 minute and 10 second, you know, we've analyzed that app, we've done, or that lap, we've done a video on this. You know, Misha did a video on this. Misha believes the Z06 itself is a sub 7 minute car. So maybe we get some official times from GM for both cars when the ZR1's out there, because I'm sure this is kind of a Ford with a shot across the bow towards GM to say, hey guys, look, we are the first. You know, our GTD it just dropped a sub 7 minute time, and that's remarkable. I mean, that's not a, you know, that's not a slow time by any means. I mean, 657.685, that's moving. And again, that just shows that, you know, it's geared right. It's got the right aero. The suspension setup, you know, this Dirk Mueller went over and over and over about how good the suspension setup was. And he felt like he wasn't even pushing the car to the absolute max, that he believes there's more in it, specifically with the aero and the suspension tuning. You know, I'm hoping we get some of that in the ZR1. You know, traditionally, the Z06 has been the more track-focused suspension setup. It's harsher, you know, it's firmer. It's, you know, definitely more track-focused. But, you know, and Taj had said that before, that's kind of the way it usually goes. But I'm hoping we have some settings here on the ZR1 with some of the, you know, traction management and, you know, the suspension setup that will complement the aero and the extra horsepower that's going to go ahead and take this thing and throw it out there into a sub 7 minute run so we can go this. But right now, you know, hats off to Ford. They did it. You know, they're the first. That's a really, really good time with less horsepower than the ZR1, probably more aero. I don't know about the suspension setup yet. We don't have a whole lot on that from the ZR1 yet, but it's impressive, guys, and it's a shot across the bow. You know, again, especially, you know, coming out shortly after the Z06 for the lap time of 7:10:51. Again, it's unofficial. It's not the GM time, but, you know, we're going to see. I guess all our, you know, hope and our faith now is in the C8 ZR1, and we're going to see it's going to be an amazing car when it comes out. And with the more horsepower, the more aero, I'm hoping we can get under 7 minutes for GM and we can do this. So if you haven't, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Just thought I'd put a quick video out because when I read that today, it absolutely blew my mind. I was not expecting that. I was expecting low sevens from the GTD, but, you know, seeing is believing. That's an official time. That's a Ford time, and they even did a 14-minute video on it. So check that video out. I'll put the link in the description, guys. Thanks for watching today, and be safe until we can see you next time.